Hi, I'm Rich Gallagher. Welcome to Sweetwater's iOS Update. This time out, an amazingly versatile metronome. Let's get started. Today we're checking out Polynome, an amazingly versatile metronome app. I'm joined by Nick DiVirgilio, who also uses this app, and the two of us are going to kind of give you a tour of what's going on here and tell you a little bit about how we use the app. So Nick, how did you discover this app?
I discovered this app through my friend Joe Crabtree, who invented the app. I met Joe over in England. He's a drummer from the UK. I met him through my friend Rob Aubrey over there. Joe is a drummer by trade. He plays in the band Wishbone Ash, and has been playing for about 25 years. He studied physics at university, and in his spare time, he started creating this Polynome app, and now he's like the mad scientist of app makers because he does nothing but tweak and improve this app on a daily basis.
It is absolutely amazing how much you can do with this metronome. It really goes beyond being a basic metronome, and it becomes a real practice tool as well as a performance tool, which is sort of how you're using the app. What first caught my eye about it was the fact that you could have for each of the presets and each of the different patterns and things that you're working with, is you can have a count off. And that's really important when you're working with patterns that have silences in them.
Sure.
Or if you're trying to do things where you're just setting up like the last 16th note in a bar is what you want the click to be. Finding where the beat is without having that count off is really difficult, and this had that feature, which is what drew me to it in the first place.
Sure. Yeah, you can really take this app and set up your practice routine any way you can really imagine.
So let's take a look at what Polynome can do. You can set it up as a very basic metronome. Here I've got it programmed to do quarter notes. It's at 100 beats a minute. When we hit play, we have our basic metronome. Now we can store all the settings for that metronome as presets. So I've got a preset here that is at 280 beats per minute, but the click is only on 2 and 4. So whatever characteristics I want that preset to have, or that beat to have, that pattern to have, we can store all that and instantly recall it. And this is how I use it when I'm practicing. So I'll set it up, I actually have it set up so I can filter the different presets by tags. I got my daily routine tagged here. I can start out at 100 beats per minute with my standard metronome for a warm-up, then move on to different exercises at different tempos. So I'm at 120 beats per minute on 2 and 4. As I speed up, working through exercises, I can just click the presets and instantly move through. So it's a very fast way to be able to work through exercises at a variety of different tempos.
And also, when you're learning and practicing your rhythmic playing, whether you're a guitar player, drummer, any instrument, it's really good to put those metronome beats on beats other than one.
Right.
On the upbeats, on the downbeats, on a 16th note, so you really start to internalize your internal clock. So it's a really good practice tool for that kind of stuff.
So programming these different patterns and rhythms is very simple. Nick, do you want to show us how you can set up a different layer of rhythms here and actually create a groove?
Sure. Well, you can have two separate metronomes going on at the same time, so you can really kind of get into your polyrhythmic practicing, whatever you want to do here. And it's really simple to do. Your first rhythm is on top here, second one is down here. Just hit the button, and you put change rhythm. And then you add whatever you want. It gives you, quarter notes, 16th notes, 8th notes, all the rests, everything in between. You can get quintuplets, sextuplets, pretty much any rhythm you can really think of.
Right.
And you put in whatever you want. I'm just going to randomly put in things here now, so it's going to be pretty strange. Then you hit the button done. You see it down there. You can add sounds. You could add accents to the different beats, whatever you want. And then when you play it, this one's going to be crazy, but it'll sound like this. So again, you can get into some really serious polyrhythmic training. It's really great for a drummer, so you can practice different limbs doing 4 different things if you want, all at the same time. And this app will kind of keep you grounded.
And we can also get into extremely deep editing with these presets. So if we click on the preset and open that up, we can change the rhythm, as we saw before, where you can enter in different parts here. We can delete, we can clear. We can also mute certain notes. Let's cancel that. Click, we can change accents and settings here. So we can accent different beats or different hits within the metronome. And Nick, show us how you can change sounds on these as well. Well, we actually have our 2 metronomes, and there are 2 lines per metronome, which lets you get extremely complex.
Sure.
And you can set up things that sound like a drum kit, where you might have a kick and a snare and hi-hat and things.
All of those things.
So show us how you change those sounds.
Same thing. You press the button again. You hit the change sounds button this time. And the sound we have right now is a click. So just click on that, hold it for a second, and then the list of all the sounds the app has inside it will come up. You just kind of scroll away until you find what you're looking for. I'll pick a clap sound right now. Hit done a couple of times. You're back to the first page. And again, you can change the sound of every hit and every accent. So you can have a full-on drum kit with a regular click on top of it, or vice versa. Pretty much set it up to your desire.
Right, and then you can mix it using the mixer down here at the bottom.
Exactly.
Now the other thing that it'll do for you as a practice tool is if we open up the main menu here, we have a variety of choices for preferences, libraries, and things like that. But it will also actually track your practice time. So we can actually toggle that on and off, and we can look at it here. Beyond that, each preset allows us to add notes to what we're talking about here. And in fact, we can actually track our practice time as well, and you can do that in a variety of ways. We can also keep a daily log of our practice. If we click down here, that will open up. We can take a look at that. So you can enter notes about each practice session. And we can also look at a log of our daily practice. It's very detailed, and we can filter that in a variety of ways. So if we open that up, we can see the number of practice events. We can look at the total time per tempo. So you can really get in there and see what you've been working on a daily basis.
One of the great ways I use Polynome as a practice tool is it's a preset in here called the Rhythmic Pyramid, where it jumps up from quarter note, half notes, quarter notes, and just up and down the scale. And it's a really great tool how to internalize different subdivisions while you're keeping a steady tempo.
Do you have a preset for that?
I do. Unfilter our presets, go down here, it's called Rhythmic Pyramid. It's all set up for you now. And I'll just hit play and you can hear what it's doing. Now 6 sextuplets, then 7-note phrases, 8-note phrases, and so on. And it goes all the way up to even 15-note phrases, still with the same pulse, and then back down again. And it's, again, a great way to really internalize that pulse, even though you're playing odd number groupings.
And all these features are great. They're wonderful practice tools. But if you want to take Polynome on stage with you and use it as a metronome, it has a playlist feature that makes it even more powerful. You can use playlists when you're practicing, but I think they really come into their own on the stage.
Yeah, it's great. So you can use it quietly. No one else has to hear it. It's just for you to set up the tempo exactly for the start of every song. So your band and you know exactly where you're supposed to be every time.
Right. So you can set up a chain of presets is basically how this works. And so you could put together a whole song with different time signatures, different tempos, and it'll step through all those just like a drum machine would. Right. And you can use that when you're practicing, of course, as well. Of course, yeah. But it's awesome on stage, and you used it recently with the Fringe.
I did. So if you go up here to Presets, then you hit Playlist Manager. We put the playlist here in your app, and it's called Fringe at Rozfest. This was a show we did not too long ago. Hit Load. So now every song is in the list here. And how I set it up, I just wanted to get the tempo to start each song. I didn't want to play to the click throughout the whole song. So here you go. You'll hear the start of the first song called You, and then you'll see it skip to the start of the next song. Here we go. Right now, opening day, which is our second song, it's sitting there waiting for me to hit that button. But a really cool way to do, especially on a dark stage, it has something called big numbers. So if you hit the little mixer button right here, there's a fader on the end called Big Numbers. You turn it up and you see the number show up right there. So now when I hit this play button, the number also scrolls on the screen. That's fantastic because I don't need to hear the click. I can see the numbers go by and then know what the tempo of the song is by watching the numbers count down.
Right, you can see them go by that fast and get the tempo?
Well, that was a fast song. I think the next one is slower. See, that next song was slower. There you go. But again, just lots of cool features to use as a practice tool and a live performance tool.
Right, absolutely. And as we've shown you here, I use it very differently than Nick does, yet it has features to support the ways that we each individually work.
Right.
I hope you enjoyed this look at Polynome. It's an amazingly complex polynome that's super easy to use. Actually, it's very easy to navigate. There are a lot of tutorial videos. You can even set it up to where you have videos and you have information about each of the presets and each of the playlists. So if you want to make notes to yourself, if you want to put a web page up about a particular preset or a playlist, you can do all of that from within Polynome. It's amazingly versatile.
It is.
Nick, thanks for coming in today. I appreciate you helping out, showing Polynome here. It really is an incredible tool.
Pleasure.
And thanks for joining me for Sweetwater's iOS Update. Be sure to tune in next time. We'll have more apps, more hardware accessories, and more tips on making music with iOS devices. I'm Mitch Gallagher.